It's semi-final time at Wimbledon and we have some massive players left in the draw. Novak Djokovic looks revitalised. He's had a nice draw. We've got Musetti flying the flag for Italy and for Yannick Sinner. We've got Jasmine Paolini already in the final. And Daniil Medvedev, he returns to the semis and he's going to be playing Carlos Alcaraz again. This is our semi-final prediction.
It's that time again, people. We've made it all the way through the tournament at Wimbledon and we are at the semi-final stage on the men's side. The women's, as you just mentioned, already in the final and we've got that to look forward to. But we have the men's semi-final. Could be a really long day, or they could make short work of it with some straight sets wins. We're going to give you our prediction at the end of this video, so stay tuned, smash a like, subscribe. We're going through it all today. We've got Musetti Djokovic again, the guy who can really run him close in matches, and we've got Alcaraz versus Medvedev. He's overcome Carlos Alcaraz at the US Open. Can he now do it at Wimbledon? That's the massive question we're going to be answering here today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to these semi-finals and the finals for the women's, but I'm not going to speak too much about it because we're going to be speaking about it on a podcast later on. Yeah. Let's focus on the men's, and the elephant in the room is what you're wearing today, Ben, because it seems to me like you've just come from Wimbledon yourself as one of the ball boys. You've got the outfit on, the All England club attire, the polo shirt, the polo hat as well. You've got the full outfit. What's going on?
I do. It is a little bit like the whole outfit. All the gear, no idea. I think that's what that's.
Have you been at Wimbledon today as a ball boy?
Secretly, I have. If you spotted the bearded ball boy, it was me. So yeah, I was there. No, they don't allow that at Wimbledon. There's a very big process. There's actually a good video out there that I'll pop in the description about how you become a ball kid at Wimbledon. It's quite an extensive process that they have to go through. Weeks of training.
I mean, surely you're too old as well, right?
Well, I'm probably on the just on the cusp. I think I'm borderline. I think I'm not too sure. I just don't think that my catching skills were there. That's why they didn't let me in. I'd never made it and was never any good in cricket at school. So I just stuck to hitting a tennis ball rather than catching it. That was more my skill set. But we're not here to talk about me playing tennis or running around chasing a tennis ball. We're here to talk about 4 tennis players who are the best 4 grass court players this year, it would look like. And that is Daniil Medvedev, Lorenzo Musetti, Carlos Alcaraz, and of course, the main man himself, Novak Djokovic, going for number 8, going to level Federer's record. Can he do it? He's fresh, as fit as a fiddle now. That knee's not causing him any problems. And Alex de Minaur just he just stepped aside, didn't he? What happened? Let him through.
Well, my assessment of these final 4 is it's not that unexpected, most of them. Lorenzo Musetti, you can see him on the left. Very handsome guy, I may add.
Ooh.
He is someone I didn't expect to be here. Alcaraz, for me, was nailed on. I thought Sinner was going to be nailed on, but it turned out to be Medvedev. That can happen. 2 very good athletes. Djokovic, I didn't expect to make it this far. I thought Hurkacz would have knocked him out in the quarterfinals, but he never got to play Hurkacz, never got to play Zverev as well. And his draw has been very fortunate, and he's beaten everyone convincingly who he's played. And this does make for a really exciting Final 4. You've got to look at it as Djokovic's half is a great opportunity, not just for Djokovic, but also for Musetti, because he can now get to a Wimbledon final without having to play either Medvedev, Sinner, or Alcaraz, but he's going to have to overcome something he really does struggle on overcoming, especially in a Grand Slam. He come very close at Roland Garros a few years ago, 2 sets to love up, and buckled completely. He is a different player now, but you'd think that probably clay's his best surface. I don't even know if that is anymore. Right now, though, the way he's played throughout this tournament has been extremely encouraging. beating Taylor Fritz in the manner he did in that fifth set showed a different level from him altogether. He was pretty good at Queens too. And his grass court, I think he's 12-2 on the grass this season. Here's some of the head-to-head results anyway. I'll let you go through them.
Yeah, I mean, these two, when they get on a tennis court, it really excites everybody, I think. We saw, obviously, the first time they played, the one you just spoke about there, back in 2021, when he went 2-0 up against Novak Djokovic and then capitulated. It took him over a year to get over that loss. It really destroyed his confidence.
Yep.
Maybe 2 years, yeah. But when he came back, you saw 2023 defeated Novak Djokovic at Monte Carlo. Wasn't the best quality from either player, but still, he proved he could beat Novak Djokovic. We got to Roland Garros this year. It was 5 sets between the two of them there as well. I mean, it was an epic match, but he's still struggling in the fifth sets. And that's the one thing that he's proven in the last round, that he can actually play in the fifth set now. It's not against Djokovic. That's the only problem. He did Taylor Fritz. I mean, Taylor Fritz has got to go back to the drawing board and really got to think about why has he lost all 4 of his quarterfinals he's played in Grand Slams. He's a bit of a Rublev right now, and they're on the same sort of level, I think. Musetti, I think he could be greater. And the reason being, when I see him play people like a Novak Djokovic, there's a part of me that feels like he could beat him. I don't ever feel like that when I watch Taylor Fritz against Novak Djokovic. When I see Musetti playing him, if he could keep that level for 5 sets, or at least 3 out of the 5 sets, I believe he could beat Novak Djokovic. That's the thing, that if he was to turn up and really turn up and not get in his own head, he really has a chance in this semi-final. And the way he came into this tournament, like you said, he got to the final in Queens. I think that he is one of the best grass court players this year on tour.
Definitely. Really is. And this is going to be fascinating to see how he deals with someone who's not going to buckle like Taylor Fritz. If we are to get to a fifth set, which is certainly possible based off the last time they played this year and the way Musetti has produced during this tournament, is he going to... Because I feel like it is going to go the distance. It really does feel like it. But is he going to do what he's done previously against Djokovic, or are we going to see this new Musetti? And I think that is what we're hopefully going to get answered.
Yeah, I mean, he's...
Because I personally don't see it going straight sets either way. I don't know if you agree.
I don't see it being a straight sets win. I think Djokovic, as good as he's been and as good as he was against Holger Rune, I don't think Holger Rune offered anything in that matchup. No. And I think that the weapons that Lorenzo Musetti has and the fact that he's been in the form he is coming into this, I mean, he was in tears after his match against Taylor Fritz due to how much that meant to him. This is such a big moment in the career of Lorenzo Musetti that I think he's going to want to take this moment. It may be at Wimbledon. If you go back to the drawing board as well and want to look for a blueprint of how to defeat Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon in a 5-set match, you only have to go back to last year and you have to go back to the final. It's never going to be easy, but Carlos Alcaraz proved it's possible. And if anybody is on sort of like the growth from a young player, like Carlos Alcaraz, I think Lorenzo Musetti is that type of player. So he'll be looking at what Alcaraz did last year and thinking, can I replicate what he did? Because Djokovic, I don't think, is as good as what he was last year. And he could be there for the taking if Musetti really, really stays dialed in for the whole match. But it's all about the mental, this match.
One thing he does have in his favour is what Bastian Thacken tweeted. I don't know if you want to share that one. And that is his look. Because... there's one player who has done very, very well at Wimbledon over the years and who has come close to Novak Djokovic, or he's won one more title than him here at Wimbledon. And if you scroll down, you can see with the glasses on, it's Musetti. Glasses off, is it Roger Federer?
I think it could
be. Very similar,
yeah.
them poses.
Yeah, very similar.
Does it give you shades of Federer?
I mean, we have the single-handed backhand. I mean, it is one of the most exciting single-handed backhands since Federer retired, I think. Like, Musetti's one is one that really opens up the court. You don't get to see it from too
But
many others.
visually, they've got the same hair as well,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, if he just had that same...
I think he needs to go with a headband. He needs to go with the Federer headband, scrap the hat, and then we've got a Federer regen.
Imagine if he does that for the semi-final.
Just does it for the semi.
Oh, that would get in Djokovic's head, I think. I think Djokovic...
They're both Nike athletes too.
He might get rattled by that. If he sees him come on, maybe he wears the Federer...
I don't think Djokovic will get rattled by anything.
I don't know. You never know.
And then change racket as well to a Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, he's using my racket at the moment. He might need to change to a Wilson. My one, I don't think will beat Djokovic, especially with me in control of it as well. But something else interesting, I think, like, because there's been a lot of tweets coming out because Musetti's made his first ever semi-final as well. There's some stories about his tattoo as well. I don't know if you'd seen this tweet.
I saw it, but I didn't read it because it looked quite long.
It's only quite a short one. Bastian Fucken again. He's putting out a lot of good tweets at the moment. So
I've not seen this actually.
It's his uncle is a cardiologist, so he asked him to record his heart activity, chose a sample, and added a tennis racket in the middle as tennis is his heartbeat, and had it tattooed on his arm. And there it is. There. I mean, pretty cool tattoo, I think. And if you're going to have a tattoo, having it related to family and like your passion, sport, like your career, all in one there, I think it's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a good tattoo as well. I think this is not a new story, though. I remember this when he was in the Challengers, I think, back in, or many years ago, he had this tattoo. It's not a recent one, but certainly one what makes sense.
Yeah, I think so too. If we speak about Novak Djokovic, his opponent, because we've spoken about Lorenzo Musetti, obviously we did the roundup yesterday and we were going into a lot of detail about how he beat Taylor Fritz. He looked convincing in the fifth set. Novak Djokovic didn't have to play a quarter-final matchup to get to the semi-final. Alex de Minaur withdrew, and it was very devastating, the fact that he had to withdraw after it getting injured on match point. I still feel really bad for Alex de Minaur. This could have been a potential year he could have really challenged Djokovic on the grass if he was fit. It's not the case. Djokovic gets extra rest. He gets 3 days rest between his last match and this one. He's gonna knee's going to be.
Had a 5-setter.
Yeah, exactly. The knee's going to be healing up even more in that time frame. They're going to have the best people around him. The way he looked against Rune was very, very dangerous. He's going to be coming into this match super confident, Novak Djokovic. That's my belief, and I don't think he's going to be. There's no excuses that are going to be for Novak Djokovic if he doesn't win this match. There's nothing you can say because he's looked great in this tournament. I don't think the movement was compromised at all in the last match. I think he looked brilliant. So he has to bring it, and he really has to go at Lorenzo Musetti. And I think he has to start very fast because he hasn't done it in the past, and he's found himself down to Musetti. So
I wouldn't read into the 3-day thing so much. I don't think it's going to have much of an influence at all. If anything, it could help him if he's to beat Musetti for the final, but not too much. You never really know. I mean, him having a rest could make it worse for his knee because he's then rested. It might seize up a little bit, but he's still going to be hitting. So my honest opinion is it's not going to change anything. And people saying it's a really big benefit for Djokovic, probably not. I wouldn't read too much into it.
Oh, no. You see he's just passing the time a little bit, Djokovic, while he's having his 3 days off, just on the cover of Vogue, as you do. If you're Novak Djokovic and you say it, and there you go, they're saying the greatest of all time, Djokovic there. Just chilling out, really, just while everybody else is playing their tennis and getting their recovery in. He's just relaxing there just on the phone.
I don't think he's relaxing, mate. I think he's secure in the bag, getting a good paycheck. One thing I did see what he was doing was quite funny. He was playing with Kyrgios and his son. That was a nice moment. So he's been hitting the courts, but it's not exactly been the most ferocious of practices.
Is that a good preparation for Musetti, playing against your son on the other side?
I don't think it matters. It really doesn't matter. When you're someone like Novak Djokovic, doesn't need to practice, doesn't need to prepare as much as everyone else. He's got the day's rest, but means nothing. Let's focus on the match itself, and we'll give our prediction at the end. But before we do, let's go on to the other match, and we'll speak about Daniil Medvedev, Carlos Alcaraz, number 5 versus number 3. They played this time last year at the semi-final, and Alcaraz beat him 3 sets to love, and it was 6-3, 6-3, 6-3, 1 hour and 50 minutes. They played under a closed roof. It'll probably be a closed roof again. I think that we are set for rain tomorrow, which surely will help Alcaraz again, maybe. It definitely helped him last year. He played extremely well in them conditions. I think it helps if you're an aggressive player. Medvedev last year, though, was very deep on the court, and he's started to come a little bit further forward. He's attacking the net more. He's very successful at the net, and he's not playing as defensive as we've seen in previous years. Do you think he's got more of a chance against Alcaraz than last year, or do you feel we're going to see the same matchup again, an outcome?
I think that he has more of a chance. Yeah, I really do. I don't think that this is a given whatsoever in this tournament.
It's not 3-3 for you?
No, I don't think so. I think we all probably thought that Sinner was going to be similar to what Alcaraz did last year to Daniil Medvedev. He's a man who makes adjustments, and if any time is to make an adjustment, is now. He lost in the exact same time in the tournament last year, and he's not going to want that to happen again. I feel like he does get embarrassed by getting beaten by these young kids coming through on the tour, and you should do. You should have some pride in your performance when you're out there on the court, and you don't want to get whipped by...
No, don't be silly. It's not embarrassing. Losing to Sinner and Alcaraz is not embarrassing.
In the manner he's losing, if you lose in straight sets like that,
it can happen. It can happen.
Oh, it can.
These are sensational tennis players. If you get battered by Djokovic in a match, it can happen. Sinner and Alcaraz, what they're doing, honestly, they are looking like they can dominate this sport for many years to come. They are as good as Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, certainly. He was a late bloomer. Rafael Nadal at their age group. Specifically Alcaraz, because he is slightly younger, and what they're doing right now is insane, and they are fantastic professionals who are so highly skilled at what they do. To lose to them in straight sets is not embarrassing, in my opinion. It can happen, and it will happen many times. Doesn't matter who you are. When everything clicks and they have a brilliant match, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to sit there and applaud. It's like watching Manchester City. Manchester City, right. you can do as much as you want to do against them. If Pep Guardiola has them all well drilled and they're playing a good game and it all comes together, you just sit there and applaud and say, well done. They've got the players and they've got tactically a great setup, and that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he had some stuff to say after his match with Jannik Sinner, and he said that he'd obviously lost 5 times to him. That was one of the big things about that matchup, losing so convincingly in the last match they played as well. He said it was important to come out and show that that he's actually improved since they last played, because he couldn't lose in an embarrassing... I feel that it was like, if you get walloped like a 1 and a 2 or that type of thing, that's like it demoralising for you.
For me, it's only embarrassing who you play.
Yeah, but if you're in a final or a semi-final and you lose that convincingly...
Okay, so is it embarrassing if Medvedev loses 3-3 to Djokovic?
I still think he'll be disappointed. If you get deep in a tournament, you still can't compete.
Is it embarrassing in your eyes?
I still think he'd be a little bit embarrassed, that he didn't really compete.
Okay,
like,
you don't even. That's your opinion.
You've just one break of serve, and you didn't even get him to a tie break. You didn't. It's not. It doesn't even sound like a test. 3-3
I think the word you're using is wrong, but that's my opinion. I mean, I think being embarrassed is harsh. I think to be embarrassed, it has to be from someone who you shouldn't be. You should be winning. There's that expectation there to be embarrassed.
Maybe it's the wrong word then.
It's more like disappointed.
I think disappointed, but I feel like if you do have like a level of like I don't know, if you had like self-belief coming into that, and you literally had it stripped from you, I feel like there is a little element, like you will feel a little bit embarrassed, and that
Did
would
he
be the
use that word
fire.
himself? Because it would
No,
surprise me if he does feel embarrassed,
no, he's
because
not
he
used
does
it.
hold himself with Daniil Medvedev. One thing I'll agree with you with, he does hold himself as one of the best. He said before the Sinner match he feels he's the same level as Yannick Sinner.
Exactly.
And I
That's
like
what.
that. So that's probably where he may feel embarrassed, because he feels like he should be winning that match. But from most people looking outside, he shouldn't be. Sinner's the favourite, so it's not embarrassing.
Yeah, and he said in that one, he said, we're always going to be probably playing semis, quarters, or finals. So he said that match against Sinner, it was important to show that I'm always going to be there. It's not like, oh, you can just run over me. Like that one, to be 6-all in the head-to-head and lose 6 in a row after he beat Sinner 6 times in a row, that was massive, I think, for his mental. Like coming into this next match with Carlos Alcaraz, and this is the head-to-head between the two, in case you're wondering. It's 4-2 in favour of Carlos Alcaraz, and he's won the last 2, but Medvedev won the last slam match they played, and that was at the US Open, and it was quite convincing as well. He really got his tactics right in that match, and Carlos didn't really know how to handle a revitalized Daniil Medvedev, and it could be the same in this semi-final. We don't know which one's going to turn up, and it makes it exciting because it's not just going to be a steamroller performance from Alcaraz. Well, we don't know. It might be, but I don't think it will
We
be.
didn't think it would have been last time, though. And I'm looking at the
Yeah.
odds here. Last time they played, this time last year, the same round, Medvedev was Alcaraz was 1.36. This year, he's 1.29. So the bookmakers actually fancy Alcaraz to win more than they did last time round. That's just one
How
little
interesting.
thing. But
How
I don't
interesting
see it
is
like
that?
that. I think it's closer than what it ever was. And I think this is going to be a tough one to call.
How interesting is their head-to-head, though? Because I really like the way it sort of plays out. The first time they ever played was at Wimbledon. Medvedev beat him in straight sets in 2021. The next time that they play at Wimbledon was 2 years later, and then he gets beaten by Alcaraz in straight sets. Since then, he beat Alcaraz at the US Open, and then Alcaraz has beaten him twice since then in big tournaments, obviously in the final at Indian Wells. I mean, one close set, and then the next one he sort of battered him 6-1. But Medvedev comes back. You see, like that when he lost 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. The next time they played, he got one back over on Carlos. Now he's lost twice in a row. Is he going to want to get another one back over him for the last Wimbledon loss? I feel like there is a bit of that mentality.
Isn't it? One Daniil, 2 Alcaraz. 1 Daniil, 2 Alcaraz. We're now getting to the 1 Daniil moment.
That's what I mean. See, look, he's getting convinced. He likes a bit of pattern. Weird things happen in tennis. I don't know why, but there are patterns that do emerge, like the Alcaraz Nadal stuff, which can't stop paralleling their careers, which is just bizarre. But there are a lot of crazy things that do happen, like we saw with the Ben Shelton and his dad, like doing the exact same thing at Wimbledon in the exact 5 sets and the exact same time, and it's crazy. I don't know how these things happen. I think that tennis it makes me think I'm in an alternate reality sometimes where people are just messing with me, that these things can actually happen. But like you said, you're the one who spotted the pattern. Are you going to go with it in your prediction?
Well, we'll find out very soon. I do have a tweet I've shared with you, which I like, and this summarises all 4 semi-finalists. And I don't know if you've got anything else to say. I'm ready to do the predictions if you are, but let's
just one more after this. Yeah.
Okay, so one more after this one, and that is Djokovic. I'm a proud dad. Medvedev. I'm a proud dad. Musetti. I'm a proud dad. Alcaraz. Hey, Dad, can I get a tattoo? A small one, please.
A small one. So you're going to get
because
one like
for those who know, Alcaraz gets a tattoo after every slam victory. So he's got a little strawberry from Wimbledon. He's got something for Roland Garros with the dates. And it's something which he's going to do. One thing to note on that, surely that's not going to last forever. Because if he is to win 20 slams, I mean, he's going to be covered in tattoos. He's going to run out of space. And I think it will look a bit stupid. But hopefully it's just the first one. I think it would look weird if he kept doing it. But I don't know. What do you think of this?
I quite
funny,
like
isn't
it.
it?
Well, Musetti, I think that's the one thing that's improved his career. I don't know since becoming a dad, he's been such a better player. I keep going on about it, but
More
I
mature.
like the fact. Yeah, definitely. He's playing for more prize money. He's playing for the future of his son as well. I mean, it's brilliant to see. I think if Alcaraz can get any better, if he has a kid and it gets better, I'm going to be slightly worried, to be honest, because he's already playing at a ridiculous level. But I don't know if he's getting any baby fever. He's been hanging out with Novak Djokovic's family just this week. There he is, with Stefan and Tara. And this next tweet, it made me laugh. It says Tara is actually closer to Alcaraz's age than Novak is.
That's scary.
That's just bizarre, isn't it? I mean, if you think about that, these two are closer in age than Alcaraz and Djokovic.
Musetti's still really young, right? He's just got a child. He must have had a child pretty young.
Yeah, he's 22.
22. I mean,
yeah.
Sure, he's probably closer as well in age. But
oh yeah, for sure.
Let's get into the predictions anyway. I think
Okay.
with Musetti, he for me would be the people's champion, the Wimbledon champion, the big story. Like, as much as the other three are great, we've seen them win slams before. Musetti's never won a slam. There's going to be a lot of neutrals at Wimbledon, I think, unified by the thought of Musetti winning. He's quite a popular player there. The girls like him because he's quite good looking. The Italian buzz around tennis at the moment has never been bigger. I mean, it's crazy, really, that they've got someone like a Yannick Sinner who's not making the final. They had Berrettini before who was doing it. You've got Paolini on the women's. And then if none of them are doing it, then you've always got Lorenzo Musetti just coming up and doing something special.
Insane,
with about 10 other players breaking through at the moment who have potential as well. But yeah, that's my piece. I think he would be the people's champion. Would you agree?
I think so. Yeah, I think that he's really warmed, or the crowd have warmed to him rather, especially in his post-match interviews. He comes across really well, and yeah, he shows his heart on his sleeve, and the crowd love that, especially at Wimbledon. It's a sort of stark contrast to what Djokovic has been going through with the crowd on his side. But I've just been thinking, there could be another opportunity for the crowd in this next match. They might be chanting, Musetti, Imagine. Oh, God. But if they do that, then Djokovic will definitely
If we
win.
hear Musetti, we're going to hear also good night as well. It'll be followed shortly by a good night. But let's give our prediction. I've said it will not be straight sets. No. I really don't believe it's going to be straight sets. I think it's going to be a great match. And I would like to see Musetti do it, but I don't think he's going to win. I think it's going to be more of the same when they play in a Grand Slam match, not final, but just in a Grand Slam. This is the third time, right, at a Slam?
Yep.
2 at Roland Garros before. First time on grass. For me, it's going to be Djokovic in 5 sets.
Wow. That's big. It's a really tough one. I know that I was a bit big. Obviously, we had England, their triumph. We'd had a few beers. I was talking, and I was just sort of going off the top of my head, going with gut. I've had a little bit longer to think about this matchup, think about what's transpired, and I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with what I said yesterday, because I was quite big on it going the distance as well. They have only ever gone to 5 sets in slams, but that was on clay. This is now on grass. This is Djokovic's house, and I feel like it's the standard Djokovic scoreline that we're going to get. Musetti, I think, will win the first set, but I think that he will lose in 4.
Okay, there we go. That is our predictions. Both going for Djokovic in the final. We both didn't have that before the tournament, but we've changed and we're back in Nole. Let's look at the next one. Alcaraz versus Medvedev. Last year, straight sets Alcaraz. We've seen the patterns. I'll let you go first because you'll copy me otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, this one is definitely, for me, tougher to pick. based upon that performance by Daniil in the last round. Carlos Alcaraz, he's looked more convincing in this tournament. I thought it was really good what they did. I heard Ferrero talking about their tactics against Tommy Paul and how difficult it is to play against him. And the tactics they used, they actually slowed down Carlos's game, because he said when we play against Tommy Paul, he uses Alcaraz's pace against him. It just goes to show there's so many different facets to playing each different player.
Yeah.
But I think that Alcaraz's game and the way, like you said, if the roof is closed as well, I think it will benefit Carlos Alcaraz in this one. I think it will be Carlos Alcaraz with the win. I think it will be in 4 sets.
Okay. It's strange because I think it's very similar. Extremely
tie
similar.
breaks, or
I also think 4 kind of thing, but you've said it now, so I'm tempted to go for 5.
well,
I might not. In fact, I'm gonna go with my gut, because I would have gone 4 before you said anything, and I'm gonna stick with Carlos Alcaraz in 4 very tight sets.
a repeat of last year's final. That's what we will get, and Djokovic looking for revenge. That's what he'll be looking for. He is the master of revenge. He had the revenge tour last year. Will he be able to get a slam under his belt in 2024? I'll certainly be cheering him on, hoping he can get to number 25. As I'll be cheering on Sunday, England in the final of the Euros. We're playing Spain, so I'll be cheering against the Spaniards no matter what. By the looks of it, it doesn't matter. Alcaraz, I want to lose. Spain, I want to lose. I'm cheering on, hopefully, Djokovic and England to get the double win. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably is a good time now to go through it. Yesterday, I made an appearance on Italian TV. I wasn't expecting to be on Italian TV, but I was there watching the match against the Dutch, and England won, so they're through to the final. And this is me on the TV.
Pensi che meritate di vincere domenica?
Sì, e penso che l'Inghilterra, per quello che ha dimostrato in queste partite, abbia un livello superiore alle altre squadre e che la Spagna si troverà in difficoltà. Ora andiamo a prenderci la coppa. Forza!
Dove la vedrete la finale?
Ancora non lo so, ma potrei anche andare in Germania.
I think I got a bit too excited. I'm not actually going to Germany. On the night I was looking at flights. I did say at the end I was going there, but it's not to be. And I'm going to stay here, of course, for Wimbledon and my duties on the podcast. But thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you later on for a podcast.
Yeah, we will do. We will be wrapping up the women's and talking about the final. Krejcikova versus Paulini.
Join us then.